Hey again everybody, City of StarCraft here for another StarCraft 2 commentary. Particular match that was sent to me. It's actually going to be a Diamond player versus a Platinum player. So that's always fun to try to see who can do better, the supposedly higher ranked person or the person trying to get into Diamond. So I'm not going to tell you which one is which, see if you guys can figure it out. But top right corner though, we do have the red Protoss, happily named Microsoft. So yeah, he's got a big name to live up to there. His opponent down the bottom left corner is Zerg, playing as a blue Zerg as he usually is, although he has played a couple other races before. For the most part, everybody's droning up at the immediate moment. It looks like Zerg's actually going to go out for an early scout. Typically, you don't see Zerg players scout until possibly they put their hatchery down, unless if it's a Terran player, because if you get an early drone out, you might be able to harass their workers, things like that. And it also looks like he is going to, nope, he did a geyser trick. He was supply blocked for a little bit there, so he put his drone over here, built another drone, of course has that overlord about to pop, and then bring the drone right back. So it appears that Microsoft is going to be walling off at the bottom, so he's probably going to do a forge fast expand, and as I say that, this little probe is probably coming over here to drop that forge down right about now, or he's going to make a lie out of me. Definitely has the minerals to do so. I need 150 to do that, so it's a little late on that forge, but not too worried. Harvest count is favoring the Zerg player because he's focusing on harvesters more than actually building a forge. And of course, Chrono Boost should be utilized here. Now, good thing about Forge Fast Expands, if Zerg player isn't able to attack it and able to do anything about it, Protoss player can definitely get an econ up really high, really quick, and then move out with a much higher force than the Zerg would be prepared for. So, Zerg definitely needs to get an expansion momentarily here, and definitely can't go too long before he gets his third even. So, gotta be prepared for that. Now, Forge Fast Expanding on Zeldonga Caverns can be kind of tough. So it does take a few buildings, and you actually want to make it so your Nexus is part of that wall. So it's all about his building placement to ensure that the Zerglings can't get through and get up into the base or go behind. Now, personally, the times I do fast expand against Zerg on this particular map, I do a wall off, sort of like he's doing here. Put another couple buildings right here, a pylon right about here, so it can also power this in case of this pylon goes down. And then also I'd like to put a pylon back here and put a cannon right about here. What that does is this is the only avenue that the Zerg player can attack from. Can't get a complete surround on the cannon, so it actually protects it a little bit because of those mineral patches there. Now it looks like Zerg Dictate guys are here, so it prevents Microsoft from getting a simulator early, but he's not really that worried about it. Again, because he is Forge Fast Expanding, he really needs minerals more than gas. So you're going to see him not even worry about getting even his first gas for a while here. Zerg is dropping down his expansion here, roughly about the 15 supply mark, now up to about 18, and focusing strictly on getting a lot of Zerglings. Does have, or drones I should say, does have his queen out, so definitely to start injecting larvae, and try to out-macro the Protoss player, because if Protoss player goes unchecked here, yeah, he'll definitely have a lot higher economy, and it'll be tough for the Zerg, especially on a small map like this, to do anything about that. Microsoft does peek in here a little bit to see the timing of the expansion. At the same time, does finally grab his first assimilator. Looks like he is going to bring out one Zealot, and I don't know if that's... I believe a Zergling can't get through there. It looks like... yeah, it looks like those hexes are close enough. Zergling shouldn't be able to get through. But, same token, even though he does have this completely walled off and his main is protected at the moment, his workers over here in the expansion could be at attack if he doesn't do some type of walling on the side, or, you know, like I said, put a cannon or two in the back here. The other good thing to do on this particular map, regardless of who you're playing against, if you put a pylon or a supply depot over on this side of the trees here, so you can see any type of flank attack or any type of sneak attack that might come in from your opponent, regardless of what race you're playing against. So that's something to think about. Usually if I play Zerg on this particular map, I'll put an Overlord right here, so you can still see partially what's going on down here, and then actually put an Overlord right about here as well to see the other side. It does look like Zerg is putting his Overlords in place. Hopefully he puts one a little bit higher up in a few minutes to maybe do some scouting. Since it's a Forge Fast Expanding Protoss player, so you don't have to sacrifice your Overlords so early. Probably about the 9 minute mark, you do want to send an Overlord through to see if there's kind of any cheese build like DTs, or just know what's going on with them over there. This Microsoft player's got a lot of probes queued up. Really should only have 1 or 2 queued up at a time, and build other buildings because of that. I see a lot of people that actually like to completely queue up their buildings. Okay, here's my take on it. Say for instance, I'm going to use a Terran player as an example. This is the most frequently time you use it. You have a barracks. You have 5 Marines queued up. Okay, 5 Marines at 50 minerals a pop is 250 Marines. There are 250 minerals worth of Marines. Okay, so one barracks costs 150. Build another barracks and only put 1 or 2 Marines from each of them. What that'll do is allow you to have more production facilities, and you can build 2 Marines at a time instead of 1 Marine at a time. And that's not counting, add-ons, things like that. But same thing goes with the Protoss player and other players on their command centers or Nexus. You only want 1 or 2 at all times. If you're going to chrono boost it, have 2 of them here queued up. If you're not going to chrono boost it, only have 1 queued up at all times. I mean, he's not even using his chrono boost. And then he queued up another 3. The reason behind that is if he didn't have all these queued up, he could build a couple more gateways and build more attacking units to prevent any type of attack. Or he could tech up to something else and prevent that. Now this is what I was talking about. The building placement is not perfect, unfortunately. That drone does look like it's going to be taken out by the cannons here. But the drone was actually able to sneak in this little location right here, just because this is not a complete wall, so definitely need to put some type of building there, or something like that. Now it is going into about the 8 minute mark. I would like to actually see the Zerg player take a 3rd expansion. Unfortunately, on this particular one, you do have to destroy some type of rocks in order to get your 3rd expansion. So it would be nice to see him get there because, again, being Zerg, you want to be ahead of your Protoss or Terran counterpart by at least 1 base. So it looks like Microsoft, for the most part, is completely walled in the side of his building, but then again, or side of his expansion. But then again, there's a spot right here that units can sneak through. So I'd like to see possibly that being utilized before too long. Now, if anything, Microsoft is letting Zerg have a lot of scouting information. Because there are 2 geysers down here, but the fact that this one's still here for Zerg is telling Zerg, for the most part, that he doesn't have 4 gas, and he's not going to do really gas-heavy units, or he's not going to tech up really high really quick, because you do need that extra gas. So a combination of vision and letting his teammate know what's exactly going on there. It does look like warp gate technology is very late here in being built. Partially because of the Forge Fast Expand, but I think he built too many gateways before he actually built that cybernetics core. Looks like Zerg is going to be going for infestors, has already teched up into a layer. Harvester count is showing them almost identical, 45 to 42. It's not really saying much considering the fact that Microsoft had its expansion much earlier than Zerg did, so definitely not good for him in that regard. Production tab does show, of course, infestors are coming on the field, a couple more Zerglings. Zerg is wisely getting, of course, an Overseer in case there's any type of DT play, which a lot of times if you find the Protoss turtling this heavy, they could try to go in and get some DTs. But then again, I would critique saying that maybe this Overlord should be up here about and then moved into the base, sacrificed, to see if there's anything in the main base. This all right here could be easily scouted with a Zergling or 2, so having that Overlord or maybe turned into an Overseer probably would give him a little scouting, let him know exactly what's going on at all times. So looks like our Protoss players banking on a lot of resources he could definitely drop down 4 more gateways and easily fund off of all of that, especially with zealots. And probably should. It looks like he is going to be building a couple more. Probably should and definitely move out momentarily because he's definitely, at this point, I would say he's definitely ahead of our Zerg player. But if he lets it go any further, he'll definitely be behind. So this extractor is still being hacked down by the zealot. Gotta love zealots, but it'll take a little while. So Zerg will definitely know exactly when that's going down and what to expect with all that. So Microsoft, with a lot of minerals, dropping down a lot of pylons. Probably a little overly done on the pylons there, but yeah, the longer he sits back, the easier the Zerg player will be able to handle any type of attack. But going into 11 minutes, the Zerg player definitely needs to grab another expansion by this point, at least. Start working on these rocks or start working on these ones. I would also say maybe dropping another couple queens so he can get that creep spread going. Unfortunately, his vision is only, well, he does have the watchtowers, which are very nice to have. But by this point, if a Protoss player is sitting back doing absolutely nothing, you can actually probably have your creep up to about here on both sides, and those are the main avenues of attack. So you definitely know what's going on there. Looks like our Protoss player might finally decide to move out. He's warped in a lot of stalkers. Warped in a total of 10 or 8 stalkers there. Does have a probe in the mix, so I guess his probe wants to get on some action, kill a Zergling or two. Same time, Zerg is trying to. It does have. I like this play by Zerg here. He's got burrowed Zerglings all over the map, so he can see any type of expansion that might go down for our Protoss player. Again, has it one right here, so he knows when that destructible debris might be destroyed. I would also probably put one right behind this, so you can see that as well. But so far, I believe actually Protoss player is, I would say, a little bit ahead just because of his worker count and the amount of money he has. But he's neglecting his micro completely, macro, I should say. And yeah, he should be building a lot more buildings or teching up to something else. And he does have, of course, Twilight Council, but no researching yet there. But it looks like he might actually be pushing out now. The Zergling, of course, is a good spot that easily get destroyed, unfortunately. And it looks like there's a lot of overlords here with Zerglings in them. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with all that. Usually you'll find a lot of banelings. These ones are probably going to head off to the main base of the Protoss player and then go from there, as the rest of these ones are actually going to come back. Now, but keep in mind, the longer and longer the Zerg player waits and doesn't attack this particular army or expand, the worse shape he's going to be in, unfortunately. Now, one thing I would say, there's a lot of people that say this, if you have to sacrifice one or the other, micro or macro, sacrifice micro. Focus on your macro. If you go and kill 800 workers, at the same time, looks like there's going to be a drop up here, taking out all these probes up here. Of course, more than likely that Protoss player does have to move out and protect his base, but it looks like he might actually let it fall. This is not good for the Protoss player. Now he's going to be a 1 base to 2. So that was definitely not a good play on the Protoss part. But what I was saying is, sacrifice micro over macro. If you go in and destroy 800 drones here, whatever, that's over-exaggerated, a few drones, but you don't build anything back at your base, you're going to be in the same boat as you were if you didn't. But it looks like there's going to be an attack here. A lot of zealots, stalkers in here. A lot of banelings being morphed in, so hopefully banelings can get in and do some type of attack. They definitely attack when the Zerglings did. Force field's trying to go down, but unfortunately the force fields don't do anything. And now we have a lot of infestors down here. Fungal growth going off. Going to be trapping all these stalkers here, and fortunately that's going to completely destroy, if I can see it, completely destroy this Protoss army. Yeah, there's going to be nothing left of it now.